What's going on about this Afro think tank? Black woman says the Christian God, the white European Christian God, is an egregore, right? Now, first, when she said egregore, I didn't know what the hell that meant. I was like, egregore? I had to wait for her to explain it, but it actually makes sense. The Christian God, right, or the white Christian God, and you know how I be saying that we don't worship the same God? Because the God that we manifest, that we talk about in these books that we create, are generated by mankind in their imagination. The Most High, the true architect of life, is love and is beyond anything we've ever created, right? So the concept, the real God, is beyond our comprehension, all right? But the things that we make up, we create our gods, which is just usually a social manifestation of our own personal ideologies wrapped into allegories, right? And so if you notice the Christian God, right, Christianity is always at war, right? Right. I just want you to think about this. Christianity is always at war, and despite what Christianity says, it is spread through war, and it is reinforced through war, right? And throughout history, there's never been a time where Christianity has manifested into a peaceful society at which it pretends to be. Same thing with Islam. Islam is for all intents and purposes, Christianity and Islam and Judaism are all worshiping the same gods. This is all Abrahamic God religion. Christians are just Jews. Muslims are Jews. They're all in the category of some kind of Jew, some sort of denomination from the original Abrahamic thought, right? And it's an amalgamation of different worshiping religions that are mixed together over time. Y'all heard the old, what's that, the telephone, when you play telephone? So religion has been playing telephone for hundreds of years, and the Christianity, Islam, and the Judaism, all the way it looked at the beginning and the way it is now are damn near unrecognizable as far as practices, all the things that they say is part of the religious practices, but have nothing to do with the original text, all the reinterpretations of words. Like, it's really just a hot mess of men's idea and men's social engineering for the purpose of control and to gain riches from other people, right? It's where the people who could read, took power. There's a point in time where if you could read, that was a very powerful ability that you had, because you could absorb knowledge that others couldn't, and because they couldn't read, you could tell them anything, right? And to this day, 99% of the people who say they're Christian have never even read that Bible, and 99% of atheists read the Bible. 99% of people who are atheists, or people who don't believe in any type of man-made God, or who are agnostic and don't believe in the human-made God, but believe in there is a God we just don't know, those guys, most of them people have read the Bible. You read the Bible, you realize how much bullshit it is, and all the contradictions, all the evil, all the things they say that's not good, that's good. Like, it's a mythology, right? And there was a point in time where other people believed in other things just as strongly as people believe in Christianity. In this era, we think Christian is the default religious setting, and Islam and Abrahamic religions is the default setting for humanity, but it's only a bleep of a ideology in human history that's happening at this very moment, and it won't correlate to the future ideological thinkings of mankind. Like, the Christians of today will be Christianity as you see it, Islam as you see it, Judaism as you see it now, will be placed in this in its rightful category as mythology, right? Wholeheartedly, the same way the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, the Norse gods, the East Asian pantheons, the Indian pantheon, like, all that we know are not real things, man-made, made-up allegories for conception, for elements of life, for portions of humanity. These are principles of humanity. These are the principles and manifested in actual deities and dolls that display that. Those are all given power by humanity. And as soon as we stop talking about it, as soon as we stop worshiping it, it in fact goes away and goes to the archives of a mythology that once was a thing, but it won't have the power that it used to have. Anyway, this woman breaks it down better than I can. All right, and We absolutely have to get, especially black folks, we got to get over this. Even I know all the African traditions that you see. I know that, I know that juju and I know that root work, and there's a difference between magical religious practices and spiritual practices rooted in the order of nature. Like a lot of the root work, a lot of the voodoo, a lot of the African culture, even though it's mired in tradition and costumes and pantheons and orishas, all those orishas, pantheons, and items are a allegory or a token to represent a real thing, a real aspect of life, a real element of life, a real element of nature. So it's grounded in its reality, in its natural and realness in the real world. Even though there's a lot of pageantry that goes around it, it's grounded in, is rooted in realness, right? And how the world actually operates. Biological, historical, anthropological. It all correlates to the way we study science. The way science is the study of nature. Problem solving, figuring things out. Like that's why we get a lot of our medicines, what people will call witchcraft, is really human beings figuring out how to use what nature has given us to affect someone. You can use what people consider witchcraft, right? We call that medication and medicine in hospitals, right? There's a point in time where people who were considered doctors, medicine people, were looked at as demons and witches because they were going against the program of religion, which said, just give me your money and have faith and everything will be okay. Don't worry about me and my riches and how I'm taking your money and enrich myself, because I am close to God, and as long as I'm happy, I'll pray for you, and one day when you die, you'll reap the benefits of what earth has to offer. It is pushing your reward to your dead. That way you can slave like a happy slave on earth instead of having the spiritual experiences you're supposed to be having, right? And we all do that as we all work and slave ourselves to make a few people on this planet to be able to, buy islands and shit and fucking, I'm gonna go to the moon and just do all kind of creative things that everybody should have the equal opportunity to do. But the society is set up to where most of humanity is not allowed to do that, right? And religion is a major factor in why that's the case. So we have to get over this. We can still be spiritual. You can still believe in God, but the man-made gods that we've created, right? First of all, pales in the comparison of the real creator of all of this, right? And I think it limits us. It limits us vastly, greatly, right? It limits us from reaching our true spirituality and true understanding of how things work. But anyway, let's let this woman break it down even further. All right, I know you guys like stuff like this. I like stuff like this, digging deep in the weeds of religion and social engineering. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
My thesis statement for this video is that the Christian God is an ancient egregore, and if we were to stop worshiping this ancient egregore, he would simply just disappear into thin air. Let's go. So first off, what is an egregore? Well, an egregore is a concept from occultism and psychology. It's a thought form or collective consciousness created by a group's focused belief and energy. So basically, if enough people believe in something and they give it power through ritual, through worship, and through devotion, it takes on a life of its own. An example of this is national identity. So America as an idea, it's a thought form, or even corporate brands. We have people who will defend Apple and Nike like a religion. Political movements, and also other gods. The idea is that gods aren't external beings who exist independently. They're created by human belief and sustained by human worship. So when people stop believing, the god loses power. So now let's talk about Yahweh himself. He started off as this regional war god. He wasn't always the one true God. Early evidence suggests that Yahweh was originally just a regional storm god in ancient Canaan, and that he was associated with mountains, with storms, and with war. He was one god among many in the ancient Near Eastern pantheon. Early Israelites were polytheistic, meaning that there was archaeological evidence that shows Israelites worshipped multiple gods. Yahweh had a consort who was Asherah. She was a goddess, and there were inscriptions were found that said Yahweh and his Asherah. And then over time, Yahweh worship became exclusive. So the Israelites turned into monotheism, meaning they just worshiped one God among many. And then prophets and priests pushed for this Yahweh only worship. Other gods are demoted to false gods or demons. And then Asherah, they just erased her. So then after the Babylonian exile, Judaism solidified around exclusive Yahweh worship. The Torah was compiled and edited during and after this particular period. So Christianity inherited this view of God. Jesus was Jewish, worshiping Yahweh. Early Christians were Jews who believed Jesus was the Messiah. And then Christianity is essentially Jewish theology extended to non-Jews, the Gentiles. So Christianity is built on this Jewish theology of Yahweh, the Torah, prophets, the Messiah concept, and it is sustained by collective belief and ritual because we have prayer and worship and we have sacraments. And then Yahweh is given power by billions of people's devotion from over 2,000 years. And like any egregore, it doesn't need to work in the material world to sustain itself. It just needs people to keep believing. So even when prayers are not answered, even when God just doesn't show up, even when the promises don't materialize, as long as people keep moving the goalposts, that God works in mysterious ways, that your reward is in heaven, this egregore survives. So now let's talk about what happens if you were to stop worshiping Yahweh. There are biblical scholars like Walter Burkert and Pascal Boyer who have studied how gods function as cognitive and social entities. So the short answer from this framework of the egregore is that a deity's existence as a living force in a culture is sustained by worship, ritual, attention, and belief. So when those stop, the deity doesn't so much as die as become inert. So it's a historical artifact rather than an active presence. Now, we do have historical examples worth looking at. So, for example, we have the gods of ancient Mesopotamia, like Marduk and Ishtar. These were once the most powerful deities in the ancient world, with elaborate temple systems and priesthoods and devotional economies. So when the cultures that sustained them were conquered and dispersed, those gods didn't transfer. They became characters in texts that scholars study rather than forces that people actually petition. So the Egyptian pantheon actually follows that similar thing. You have Ra, Osiris, Isis. These were once sustained by one of the most elaborate religious systems in human history. The Christian conquest of Egypt and the closing of the last Egyptian temples in the 5th and 6th century, it effectively ended their active existence as worshipped beings. So again, an egregore is sustained by collective belief, attention, and emotional investment. If you remove those, the thought form dissipates. It doesn't have independent existence outside the community that generates and maintains it. Now, I could take it a step further and say that we have been worshiping the egregore of white supremacy dressed as God. I don't know if y'all ready for that conversation. Let me know in the comments if you want a part 2. Hey, don't scroll. Just hear me out, okay? I need some money. And before you say anything, it's not a lot. I just need 10%. Just 10%. 10% of your check. I already know how much you get. You can afford it. Now, shh. Look, okay? I got a business proposition for you, okay? You give me your money, your 10%. I'ma flip that shit. I'ma double it, okay? I'ma give you double for your trouble. I can even give you 7-fold, okay? I can give you 100-fold. This is a no-brainer. Just invest. Sow a seed with me. Come on. You know I'm good for it, right? Listen. If you don't get the money back, it's your fault. Not mine. I mean, shit. I'm perfect. It's because you didn't believe enough. You cannot outgive me. You hear me? You cannot outgive me. And you know I love a cheerful giver. Put a smile on your face. Stop looking at me like that. Listen, I own a cattle on 1,000 hills, okay? I got the bank of heaven behind me. Okay? Shit, I got everything. I own everything. I just need your money too. All I'm asking is for 10%. Shit. You act like that's so much. All I do for you? That's not fair. I give you all of me. You don't even trust me. I need to know that you trust me. Am I not an on-time God? Okay? Shit. I'm gonna take care of you. I need that money. Okay? I need that money.
Y'all motherfucking feet don't hurt from all that fucking tap dancing you doing for the goddamn white man. It don't goddamn hurt your goddamn feet. Your bunions ain't sore.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.